What is happening, Cog Squad? Jason over here at Cog Hill Farm. Hope you're having the best day ever today. I just got through feeding and taking care of the horses this morning. I wanted to show y'all what's happening out here in the fruit orchard before it gets, I would say, gets too hot, but we're past that. I ain't gonna talk about it. We're past that. We're in the triple digits already. First thing this morning, dew point is at 79. And I looked that up. That's 3 points higher than Amazon jungle. So just for any reference. But I wanted to show y'all what's happening out here in the fruit orchard before we, spontaneously combust out here. And that is, it is muscadine season. Well, pretty close. We've been out here picking a few, but they're gonna be hot and heavy here before too long. But if you don't know what a muscadine is, let me show you real quick. So these are all different varieties of muscadines I got growing here, but this is the black version, and over here, I got several over here, and this is the gold version. Now, I am going to put these guys on a trellis. This is something that's been on the back burner for several years now. I know a lot of y'all give me grief about it, but things just get put ahead of this project, and hopefully this fall, because we're not doing it this summer, I can tell you, hopefully this fall we can get this taken care of. It won't look like this hodgepodge mess. It will be basically one or two vines growing up on a trellis, not this what you see here, which this is how they would actually grow in the wild. This is a native grape here in the southeast and the south. They even have it in Texas. Now, I don't know about further west in Texas, but here muscadines are native. They just got different varieties now from your nurseries, and your ag schools come up with a lot of these varieties. It is basically, well, I would say that this is at one time basically the only grape we could grow here in our climate because of this hot subtropical and sometimes tropical climate we have here, which has got so much moisture in the air. We don't dry out around here, and a lot of times we don't have enough chill hours to grow table grapes. But they're starting to come out with varieties of table grape or bunching grape we can grow, not a muscadine. And let's go back and look at these muscadines.
Well, y'all, I just came in the barn to take care of everybody this morning, and this is the closest that Star has been to the inside stall. You can see Peaches is over here in her stall waiting on her breakfast. Pocket's right here waiting on her breakfast. But this is different. Star decided that this is okay. She may be very, very comfortable over here now. Well, it's very easy at feeding time because Pocket eats right here. Peaches on the other side of the stall in the inside, and Star is on the outside of the stall, so that way when Pocket finishes, she can still have access to the outside. Of course, Star has access to water. Peaches has access to water right here, and Pocket in the corner there, and also in the corner of her stall. Things are going very well between the trio. Matter of fact, I don't think it could be any better. It's just been perfect.
Now these are the purple ones. Now that one's not ready right there, but these aren't bunching. When I mean bunching, you know what a bunching, if you close your eyes and think of a bunch of grapes, you know what I'm talking about. It's kind of shaped like a triangle. You got one at the bottom and you get multiple. That's a bunching grape, and we may have some over there. We'll go look and see. But I wanted to show y'all, these are muscadines right here. And they just grow, they're gonna grow in a bunch to some degree, but not like you think of when you think of a bunching grape. Now these aren't quite ready yet. They'll turn a deep dark purple, almost black. Let me show you some, because I've been eating some. And what vine did they come out of? This one. And you can see why you want them on a trellis, because there could be a critter hiding under there. But I don't see any there. Here we go. This is the one. And y'all cannot remember the varieties. I planted these several years ago, but here you go right here. All right, now this one, you can feel it's pretty soft right there. Now, this isn't seedless. That's the one thing. Brooke loves these grapes, but she cannot stand the seeds. There's a really good one right there. Right there. She cannot stand the seeds. And let me show you the inside. It's that grape that has that ooey gooey. They're extremely juicy, but it has that ooey gooey. You're going to see some juice fly. And the inside may fly off. There we go. It has that. Some people don't like the texture of these, so it's got that gooey center, and their seeds are embedded in it, stuck in that. And so that's why the seeds are a nuisance to some folks right there. Now, a lot of people don't like the skin, but that is what a muscadine looks like. I like the whole thing, except the seeds, of course. I will spit those seeds out while I'm eating it, but I like the skin and I call that the meat. I like it all. Brooke sometimes will spit out the skin, and sometimes it is hard. This one, it gets a little bit more squishier than that, and the seeds are a lot easier to get out. But the seeds are embedded. Let's set that down. Inside this, you can probably see it right. Well, it's hard to do this one-handed. I should have got the other camera, but there's a seed right there. And typically, for the most part, there's usually 3 seeds in these things. So there's 1, there's number 2 right there, and there's number 3 inside there. There may be less, there may be more, but for the most part, it's usually 3 seeds inside these right here. You can see this is a little bit, usually it's a little bit more squishier than that, so this one's not 100% ready, but it's really close. But that is a muscadine, sweet. I love them. I know it's not everybody's thing, but yeah, they're wonderful. And I'll show you the gold ones. Now, there is a variety called a scuppernong. This is not it. This is a gold muscadine, and you can see that one should be ready. You can see the difference in the colors. They're going to turn a deep gold. And you can feel of them. You want them to be really squishy. That one's pretty squishy right there. You can see that gold color. That one's typically really done. Oh, it fell off, so I know it was ready. Let's see here. But it's going to be the same way. We're going to squeeze that out. You see all the juice in that. And there we go. Right there. And that is a golden muscadine right there. Now, scuppernongs are muscadines. And, well, it's just a variety of muscadine, I should say. It's kind of like rhododendrons and azaleas. All azaleas are rhododendrons, you know. But, anyways, I wanted to give y'all a quick update on the fruit orchard and what's going on over here. I know somebody's going to ask me this. Which one do I like better? Do I like the gold ones better? Do I like the purple ones better? I have no preference, honestly. They're so similar in taste. I guess if I did a blind taste test, I probably could pick up the subtle differences, but they're pretty subtle differences in taste. And we did the different varieties because they kind of produce just a little bit earlier or later than another one, so that way I'd have a bigger crop of muscadines. One thing that was really popular about muscadines, and well, I guess it kind of still is to some degree, is that red-bellied woodpecker, y'all hear him? Is that people make jelly out of them. My granddaddy was the muscadine jelly making king. Muscadine vines were so popular when I was a kid. It's like every backyard had a muscadine vine and had it growing on some type of trellis system. And a lot of people made muscadine jelly. Now, I hardly ever see it. And if I do see it and it's homemade, I will buy a jar or 2 of it. I know some of y'all may be saying, Jason, why don't you make your own? Well, that's just something I don't enjoy doing. I'm just going to be straight up honest with you, and Brooke doesn't either. We're just not big canners. We're not. You know, some people love it, some people enjoy it, some people love bacon, some people don't. It's the same thing. We just don't enjoy the whole canning and jelly making thing. My granddaddy loved it though. He'd sit out there for days canning green beans in a pressure cooker or making jelly and jams. He loved it. He thoroughly enjoyed it. Me, myself, I personally don't enjoy it. I will do it on occasion, but it's just not something I enjoy doing. But that is my little update on here in the fruit orchard about the muscadines. I've had several people ask me about them. Also, one more thing that is putting on fruit right now is figs. We're starting to get some figs. Now, I don't think my fig trees are going to look like this next year. I've been talking to my buddy Phil over there at Phil's Figs, who is a fig expert. If you want to know a lot about figs, go check out Phil's Figs. He's on all the social media places, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. I don't know about TikTok, I never get on there. But he is, I mean, his knowledge of figs is unbelievable. That is his passion. And he's given me some tips of what we need to do with our fig trees where we don't get a bush every year. I want a tree. So we're going to do some things differently. But I do have figs going right now. I got a lot of figs because they like to grow on new wood right here. But you can see this one's starting to turn on us right there. But that's what I'm getting. So I'll get 1 or 2 figs turning on this tree, even though I got 400 figs on this tree. And it's always never enough. Now, I just said that Brooke and myself don't like making jellies and jams, and I'm about to contradict that with figs. We do make fig preserves if we can get enough figs. And Brooke, I think that recipe's on our website. I'll double check. You can go to our website, coghillfarm.com. Go to the recipe section. I think Brooke's got her grandmother fig recipe on there. I'm almost positive she does. Or you may can find it from our app. If you don't have our app, go check that out. Go to your app store, Cog Hill Farm. Our app should come up. Download it completely free. We don't ask for any personal information or anything. All that is to get you guys, well, a lot easier to find us and get notifications when we do new things, as videos, live streams, new products, any type of announcement. Well, we'll push it out on the live and also on our weekly newsletter as well, if that's something you're interested in. If you don't get our weekly newsletter, when you go to our website, it should have a little pop-up. It says join the Cog Squad. If you don't see that, just scroll all the way down to the bottom of the homepage and it should be there at the bottom. And we do just a weekly newsletter. We don't spam you with a whole bunch of stuff. It's just an update as to what's going on throughout the week, and also to show you the videos that came out in case you may have missed something. So check those out. And we do announcements too, like if we something ran out of stock in the store and we put it back in stock, we'll put that in the newsletter, among other things as well. The app is steadily updating. We got a weekly trivia on the app now. This fun. You can change the theme. You can have your own personal animal theme on the app now. It's all kind of fun stuff over there on the app. But figs, let me show you. Oh, is that one ready? Is that one ready? We may have some ready over here. This is LSU purple. Where did they go? I just saw you from that side. Here we go. This one might be ready right here. Might be ready. That one's ready. It's delicious too. But this is my LSU purple, and you can see it is loaded with figs, but some aren't. See, I got some limbs that aren't. I should technically just try to cut those out. But we're going to, different game plan. We're going to try, and we'll get into that when we do it. But there's LSU purple. This is another LSU variety. This might be LSU gold. I can't remember, y'all. LSU black. Lots of figs on here. We're going to have to look down. Oh, that one's ready. Right there. Mine, the lower ones are ready because that's the first ones that put on fruit. You can see they're usually a lot bigger at the bottom. They're going to get smaller at the top because that's your first fruit of the year down yonder. And I just saw another one. And there it is right there. But see, I got 2 today. And so that's what I'm talking about. I want to have it like my granddaddy's fig tree, or the fig tree over there in Brooks' neighborhood that we made a video about many years ago. We harvested figs off it and made the fig preserves. We had 400 ripe figs on it, you know. That's what I want on these trees. So good. My mom and dad had a fig tree, or has a fig tree. Same thing, it's a big, huge tree. This is an O'Rourke fig here. This is the new Celeste. Celeste and Brown Turkey are the 2 figs that our grandparents and great-grandparents would have had back in the day. This is the new Celeste right here. The Aurora. Oh gosh, I didn't have my camera on there, sorry. This is it. Sugar fig. Very sweet. Oh, there's another one. By far, this is typically, this and my green Etchia are my most productive. Good though, really good. That's why I planted another Aurora right there. It's still not quite what I want. I got 5 figs off this one today. I got 2 more figs, big ones right there. Those are green Etchias. They're a later season fig. That's the green fig with the strawberry middle. Mine and Brooke's most favorite fig. Mary Carl's as well. But y'all, there's hundreds of different figs out there. Also got one on the end called Alma. It produces 2 crops in a year. And really hadn't got enough off it to get a good flavor. I've eaten it. Not my 100% favorite, but it's still good. What happens to mine is when the winter comes in, it knocks all this new growth all the way back and there's nothing left. And then it has to regrow, which this is all new growth. You can see it grew this year. So yeah, figs are pretty relentless here in the South. And my dad's cut his back many a time, and his is 20 foot tall. So there's a little fig update there. One more thing before we go to the barn and give you a big update as to what's going on over there in the barn. We tried a little experiment yesterday, and let's just say we got egg on our face. I must say it would we'll explain that later. I know somebody's going to say that, do I know that I'm eating wasp or baby wasp or wasp eggs when you see me talk about figs or eat a fig? Not here in the United States. The only, well, number one, these are domesticated figs, I should say. This is not a fig that a fig wasp would have to pollinate. That's why they lay the eggs in the figs. These are self-pollinating figs. It doesn't need any insect. Also, fig wasp can't live this north. We're too far north for a fig wasp to live, and we don't have the variety of figs that they need to survive and pollinate off of. Those are going to be in South America, in the jungles. It's a totally different variety of fig. They get massive, like 100 foot tall. They're huge. Fruit looks a little different. The whole tree is completely different. That is what the fig wasp and what that fig tree needs to reproduce. They got to have that pollination from those fig wasps. Now, if you were to live in Miami, the fig wasp possibly could live there, and very, very south tip of of California. But if you don't have those certain variety of fig trees, it doesn't matter. So no, we're not eating wasp. You're not going to eat any wasp in any type of homegrown fig in here in the United States. I want to clear that up. Gets passed around every year on social media to go for a video to go viral, because I don't know, it seems gross, and that kind of stuff goes viral. And so that's why you see that get recycled year after year after year after year after year, and they're just spreading false information. But I wanted to put that out there and clear that up. Now, let's go to the barn and let me tell y'all about our little experiment that me and Brooke, well, we're not always right sometimes. Holly's inside, by the way. I don't blame her. Y'all look over there. How about that? Good morning, Star. Hey, girl. Good morning, Pocket. That's something right there now. That is something. Good morning, Sheriff. I can see he's wetted down. See, there's Opie. The rest of the crew's back yonder. They'll be hitting the shade soon. I just asked Brooke, how many eggs did we get today? And she informed me that it was just too hot to count. She said, I ain't count them. It's too hot. Oh my goodness. Well, let me just tell you about my and Brooke's little experiment. And I will say Mary Carl as well. She was with us and she also said the same exact thing of what we thought was going to happen that, well,
Oh,
that didn't happen.
oh, I know where you're going.
You know where I'm going now?
Yeah, I was like, what are you talking about?
So we're in Tractor Supply getting, gosh, I forgot what we went for. A tractor pin or something for the tractor. And you said, I bet they got chicks. This is going to probably be their last round for a little bit. I just want to peek and look, see if they got anything odd. And they just so happen to have a breed of chicken that we actually love and used to have at the old farm called a Buckeye. So this Buckeye chicken was, you said 1890.
1890.
By a lady who came up with a breed. Her name was Nettie.
Metcalf.
And she's one of the first lady breeder that named an actual breed. Is that correct?
That's
Did I say that right?
Named a chicken after her that got credit for the first woman.
From Ohio.
From Ohio.
And it handles both climates, the hot and the cold climate, fairly well. And a typical, you think of a chicken's comb, you think of a regular old comb, and a lot of times what happens to chickens that have just a regular, everyday single comb, or a big comb, I should say, is that they get frostbite in your northern states that have a colder temperature. They start getting black or black tips, and that's fairly common with chickens. You'll see it from time to time. It actually even happens to us from time to time. But this chicken was bred to have a P-E-A comb, and it's a short, small comb which offsets that frostbite. Now, from what our research has told us, and we used to love it, we researched this breed many years ago. We had to have a refresher. She came up with this breed by breeding a Buff Cochin, a Plymouth Barred Rock, and
I forgot. A red-breasted.
all right, let's go. Ready?
I forgot again. I shouldn't have picked that one. A black-breasted red game fowl.
Black-breasted red game fowl. So those three chickens came up with the
Buckeye.
what we know now as the Buckeye. It is a red chicken.
Mahogany red.
Mahogany
red. A little
red.
different than the Rhode Island red.
But similar, but a little bit, yeah. With a short comb, and they are pretty good egg layers. And it's just a cool history, a cool breed. We loved it. The one we had two. We had a rooster and a hen.
Yes, they were purchased as straight runs because back then they were so hard to get, so rare, that you could only get them as straight run, meaning a mix of hens and roosters.
And you didn't know what it was.
We wanted them so bad that we took the chance, and we did end up with one hen and one rooster.
And they were very docile. That's the backstory about the Buckeye and why we got excited when we saw that Tractor Supply had the Buckeye chicken. Back in the day when we got ours, you could only get them from a few specialty websites. We were so excited that they had the Buckeyes, and then we went back and forth. Well, we're not gonna get them. We're gonna get them. We're not gonna. We actually left Tractor Supply and did some other errands, and then came back because we had a group family conversation about these Buckeye chicks. And the conversation kind of went like this. Daddy, Mama, you know those Silkies are extremely broody and great mamas, and they got some little chicks now. They would love to have some more little chicks because we know how broody they are. We know how such great mamas they were. They will raise a gosling if they get their hands on it.
Put them in with the silkies, and they're gonna raise them. And you know that they would love to have more babies because it's 3 mamas and 4 chicks, and that'll just be the more the merrier.
They will steal another hen's chick. I mean, they're that broody and that big of mamas. And there was no doubt in my mind, there was no doubt in Mary Carl's mind, and you basically thought the same thing too. So we got the chicks, 6, right?
We got 6 chicks.
6 chicks, brought them in here. I had to do something. I was at the house either editing, I don't know what I was doing. I was editing. That's what I was. I was editing a video. Because it was late that evening when we came back. Because it was late that evening when we went to town. I was editing the next day's video.
Yep.
And in the middle of editing that video, well, this is what happened.
Oh my goodness. What have I here? That's not a McDonald's Happy Meal, I don't believe. But it is something special in a red box. Here we go, into the barn. Any guesses as to what's in this red box? Well, in case you're having a hard time, I'm going to help you out here. These are chicks, and it's getting towards the end of the season for some of these feed stores to have chicks. Now, some of them will continue to carry them through fall, but I had to go in there for something else, and I just so happened to take a peek, which I always do. And I've done really, really well by passing on some things that just won't do well in our area. I'm going to put it that way. But this is the chicken that Jason and I have had in the past, and something we really like, a breed that we really like. Both of us do, and these are pullets. So that means that they should about 90%, maybe 80% be females. Should not be any roosters in this bunch. However, it is possible. So, if y'all saw where I just entered, you know that that's not the brooder. This is the built-in brooder. And when I saw this breed of chick, I automatically knew that I don't have to get the brooder set up, because I have 3 mamas, including Snow White, that makes 4, that will take care of these chicks, especially since they already have some. Silkies are the best mamas. There's lots of feathers in here, of course, they're molten, but silkies will take just about anything baby that you put under them, providing it's poultry or, you know, duck, goose, chicken. No matter what it is, they're just about going to take it and raise it and do a good job. So, the wait has ended. What do we have? So I wanted to bring them over here where the water is, so I could dip each individual bird's beak and make sure that they get a drink. Now these are called Buckeyes, and I hear the mamas coming already. But these are little Buckeye pullets, and it's a heritage breed chicken, which we like to try to preserve some of the older breeds of chickens. Okay, little one. Being a heritage breed is good to us. All right, this one is a little bit darker, still the same breed. All right, little one, let's get your beak dipped. There you go. And look at here. Our question was, are the mamas going to accept them? Which I already knew the answer to that. Where did you go? All right, here's another one. Number 3. Put your beak down there. Let's see. There you go. All right, there's 2. Here you are. Number 3. Come on, mamas. Number 4. It's plenty warm in here. I don't need any heat. I guarantee you these mamas will sit on these babies. Here you go. Look, we got you some more babies. Number 5. There we go. All right, and number 6. There you go. So y'all watch this. If you ever thought in your mind that silkies weren't good mamas, then you gotta watch this. Come on. Y'all go over there too. The chicks are most unsure about the mamas rather than the mamas being unsure about the chicks. Here, she's trying to get y'all. Look at there. Come here. Come here. Look at here. Here. Come with the mama. Shoo, shoo, shoo. She's calling them. Where is number 6? Is she already over there? Oh, I see it. Don't follow me. There it is. Oh, it went out the gate. I'm not sure if it came back in or not. Get my babies. Get my babies. Chicks, 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 chicks. Okay, one of them's gone with them. One of them went with the mama. Where did you go? I can hear it and it's echoing. Come here. I got you.
The mamas did not take the babies. Matter of fact, Brooke actually lost 2 babies. That's why she sent me a text in a little panic. I can't find 2 of them. They're over here in the stall, but they're MIA. They've totally disappeared.
I looked everywhere, and as a matter of fact, I thought they came out of the stall somehow, and they were loose in the barn. And my cats have been around chicks all their life, so I didn't think that the cats had got them. All 3 cats are laying out on the concrete, just showing no concern whatsoever. So I thought, well, if the chick did get loose, the cat would, one of the cats would at least probably be smelling after it, trying to figure out what it was, why it was, none of that. So I had no choice but to interrupt Jason during his editing, and that is his zone time.
It was my zone time.
And he says, okay, I'm coming.
I'm coming.
And his tone probably was not like that. No, but in my mind,
yeah. No, I wasn't.
In my mind, I'm asking him to stop something that he is totally focused on.
But I knew you were upset.
To come help me find these 2 chicks that they're in a small area. I can find them myself, right? No, I couldn't find them.
But we did find them. I think they were moving around, and we did find them. They finally just popped out of nowhere. They were in the middle of the stall after we were looking, and I heard one look down, and there it was. So I got it, and then we got the other one, and we had to set the brooder up.
It didn't go as planned, no. But I learned a lesson. Yeah. And that doesn't mean that's always the case.
Right.
It happened in our situation. They would not accept them. But that doesn't mean in your situation, if you try, they might take to them right away.
Now, without a shadow of a doubt, if it would have been the day of or the day prior or the couple days prior or something like that, 1,000% they would have taken them in.
I think it was just too long. I think their chicks had bonded with them. They had, each mama had a certain chick, and they're just bonded, and they saw them as an outsider.
Yep.
And you're not living with me right now.
Yeah,
you're not.
That's exactly what happened.
And so they're in the brooder, and they're all doing well, and we'll show them to you.
Look at here, look at here, look at here. Here they are.
Hey, babies.
And you can see they are not scared in the least. And this is the little Buckeyes right here. Aren't they pretty?
They are pretty. You can see their wing feathers are starting to come in. It doesn't look like it's going to be a red chicken.
Right.
Or mahogany colored, but it will. But they're ready for some mealworms. I've been giving them some of those combat treats in
Yeah.
this little
Oh, okay.
extra feeder right here.
They got little red tips on their noses too. Did you notice that?
I did, but I noticed that not every
Not
one of
every
them
one of them.
has it.
That's interesting.
All right, babies. There you go. Come here. Y'all know what that is. But the bad thing is when they take them and walk around, sometimes they fall through.
It's okay.
And you see what we're using on the outside of this brooder. Girl, you cannot get in there and scratch around.
I can try.
I can try.
That's the pasty.
It is.
Catch it. Got it. Good deal. So Brooke's going to go clean the pasty off that one, and it's making a noise. It's like a kind of, well, it's a distress noise because it's been taken away from its mates over here. The silkies can hear it, and so the silkies are calling back with a mama call, not a angry or, you know, hey, you're not my chick call. She's actually calling back as to like that is her chick, which is interesting. And the mother's instincts are so strong on those silkies. I still cannot believe that they did not take those chicks. I really cannot.
Accumulates on their back end, and when you've got a mama taking care of the chick, she takes care of that process. But when you are taking care of them, you just take it, and it looks nasty right now, but you just take a little bit of warm water and dissolve it and clean it up, because otherwise it'll hinder its ability to defecate,
Right,
and
it gets clogged up.
And you don't want that to happen.
The vent can
but
get
just like
clogged
that,
up.
you can see it's back running around, and just want to make sure that you keep that cleaned up.
Oh my goodness. And them things is active, ain't they?
They are. They're very active.
You can tell that's a heritage breed chicken right there.
They say, who, me?
You can tell it.
Who, me? They are cute, though. Look at their little wing feathers coming in.
The Buckeye. Well, as you can see, we let this door open today, and we did this. Well, number one, it's this morning. We're not going to leave it open all day long. We're going to shut it here after these guys can get some time outside. Y'all know earlier we put them in the thing out there, and they really didn't get away from that spot. They really didn't. And so they didn't kind of explore like we thought they would. And so me and Brooke talked about it, and we thought, we know it's hot outside, and we know the animals do like the stall, but we can share this just for, you know, an hour or so for the chickens, and then let the chickens come back in here and shut it and let the animals have access to it, cut the misting system back on and all that good stuff. So they are out here. And y'all, these mamas are great mamas. They're teaching these little babies everything. This one right here is dust bathing already. That kind of shocks me for that little bitty chick. To be dust bathing already, but it learned that from its mama, which was pretty freaking awesome if you ask me. Also, you know, teaching them how to collect and find bugs and all that's out here. And so I'm kind of glad we did this right here. They really needed a dust bathe too. That's really good for them. It helps them with their external parasites, and that's why the chickens will do that. Nuggets come over, and you can see the mamas have taken the babies away from Nugget right there. And they're talking to them, and they got their own language, and the babies know exactly what those mamas just said, because look at here. Here they are. It's just amazing. You know, sometimes we, in our minds, you know, they're just chickens, they're just birds, but they definitely can communicate with each other, and they know what they're saying. Hear them? Telling those babies. I mean, they're right here by me too. Come on in, babies. Y'all come on in. And it's probably because of the Nugget. And there they go. Just like that. Y'all know I say it all the time. Animals are smarter than we give them credit for. All the time. One question that I do want, well, two I want to answer about the newfound BFFs over here, Pocket and Star. Brooke's going to go take eggs to the farm stand. If you see her over there, that's what's going on over there. But two questions I want to answer real quick about these guys. One was, and I noticed it, I saw it when I was editing, but I knew I had talked about it before several times, and I thought, well, maybe people, but you know, sometimes you forget that you get new followers or someone may have not seen those videos. And that was with that was with Star. When Star was standing, sometimes you'll see her back hoof now. You'll see that back hoof kind of cock up, and it kind of looks like she's favoring that hoof or something's wrong with her leg, and it's not. If you ever see a horse, the rear legs, not the front leg is something else. But if you see them standing there and that one of those rear legs is kind of cocked up like that, and they're just standing there, that horse is in 100% Zen mode, totally relaxed. They got a locking mechanism in their legs, and it lets them sleep standing up. And when they're like that, they're locked in and they are completely relaxed. They don't have any fear of anything. They really don't have a care in the world at that moment. Now, if it's the front leg, like Willie was doing early on when we got him, there's an issue with their front leg. They're not relaxed. You see a front leg do that, that's something totally different. Another concern is that would Star not want to be around Brooke, or, you know, is Brooke gonna lose her buddy, that kind of thing. And I could see why people would think that, because Star obviously loves her new buddy over there. And no, Star still comes up to Brooke when Brooke calls her, and none of that has changed in the least whatsoever. Star just has somebody to hang out with when Brooke's not out here loving on her. Yeah, and she needed that. Yep. And I think Pocket needed it too, I really do. And it's kind of like that old commercial from the 80s, My Buddy. Wherever he goes, I go. So y'all, I've got to tell you about the community shade tree right over here. I get tickled every time. At some point during the day when the heat really gets extremely hot, they will get under the community shade tree over here. And they'll come over here too, behind this big shady area over here. And also, they can get under their stalls, which is a lot of shade over there too. But I've noticed them here recently. I guess since they're out in this pasture exploring, they'll get under there. And they'll take turns. Nugget's over here by me now, but I've seen Nugget under there with Opie and Ernest walking around, or all of them under there. Right now you can see that, let's see if we can get you over here. Topper and Tipper, they're out grazing right now. They decided to, you know, to get out from under the community shade tree over there and go get them a little bite to eat, I reckon. Well, Honey was in the shade. She just walked out of the shade. There's Jessie in the shade. They got this big shady area over here too, but I get tickled. And you'll see Jessie and Honey under there. You'll see Loretta under there with them. It's just one giant community shade tree over here that it makes me smile and giggle every time I see them all under there like that. And they got the wooded area over there too, but they seem to hang out over in that wooded area early in the mornings. And then they come out, they get fed, and then they seem to migrate over to this pasture. And then when it gets 10:30ish, they start hanging out over here in that community shade tree over there. Also, you can see that Nugget and the other two emus are getting along fine. There's no static whatsoever. I mean, it's really not. He's over here. I can see that Opie is under the community shade tree, and I think Ernest is over here in the stalls with Loretta. So yeah, this all that quieted down, thank goodness. Yeah, I'll come over here, but I know you're gonna lay down as soon as I start petting on you. Yeah, Mama wetted you down earlier. She did. Yeah, she did. Love you, buddy. Well, y'all, appreciate you hanging out with me, Brooke, all the farm animals today. Hope you have the best day ever. Please stay safe and cool out in this extremely hot weather that most of us are experiencing. Hope you have the best day ever. Love you. Catch you on the next one. Y'all be good.